Welcome back to Pac-Manufactured, a series all about Pac-Man clones. In this episode we're taking a look at the Incredible Coneman, developed for the PS1 by Lars Barstad and released in 1998. Now this is a homebrew Net-Yaroze game that was featured on many a PS1 cover demo disc, but quite memorable for its presentation, and we'll get onto that in a moment. But the actual core mechanics are very much a Pac-Man clone. You're a little guy in a maze. There are ghosts that can kill you. There are power-ups that you can use that don't allow you to eat the ghosts in this, but allow you to turn sort of invisible essentially, and you can then sort of pass through the ghosts for a temporary amount of time, and you also gain a speed bonus as well for using those power-ups as well. So it does change the mechanics somewhat by not having that sort of push and pull, in that you can't actually defeat the ghosts in this version. They are the main enemy, but yeah, your power-ups only basically make you temporarily invulnerable against them, so there's no way of sort of taking them out of action. It is full 3D, and that has its own issues, but we'll get to that in a moment. But yeah, it's a full 3D map that you can explore. You can't change elevation or jump or anything like that. It's very much just moving around the map, trying to collect all the pyramids essentially instead of pellets in this, and then once you've got them all you can clear the stage. You have the ability to move the camera around using the face buttons. You can change its elevation, you can sort of pitch it a bit as well, so you can have it a little bit higher up. I generally try and have it fairly high up just so I can see more of the map, so I don't sort of lose sight of the ghosts and I can play it more strategically. Not the biggest fan of the map design. There's a lot of dead ends, which is a big thing that I'm not a fan of in regards to Pac-Man maze design. I always feel like there should be a junction, a sort of route out of any area, but this doesn't really have that, unfortunately. There are dead ends, which does mean that you can get boxed in if a ghost is right behind you. So yeah, not great in that regard. And the other thing is the movement. You have full mobility. You're not locked to the corridors like you are in Pac-Man. You can move around in any direction at any point during the corridors. You've got full sort of like analog rotation, which again just feels clumsy. It doesn't make it feel polished. I much prefer that sort of locked directional movement to the corridors in four directions, and this just doesn't have that. So yeah, so that's the negatives. However, I do feel like the Incredible Coneman does excel in one place, and it is the presentation. It's just so daft. The whole thing is very silly. So you've got this like really slinky bass line that plays throughout the entire game, and it's difficult to dislike. It's just so funky and fun. And then there's the sound effects. So when you clear stages and get power-ups, it's like little drum fills or rim shots, and when you die it makes a sad little sort of like saxophone riff essentially, and it's just so silly and cute and funny, and I can't dislike it because of its presentation. It's just that all that audio stuff really, really helps this game stand out, and it will be the thing that everybody remembers it for. So in that sense, it's difficult to not recommend it. It's worth experiencing just for the presentation alone because it's so silly. It's not the best Pac-Man clone by any stretch of the imagination. Like I say, I don't like the full 3D like analog rotation that you have instead of just being locked to the corridor movement like you are in a traditional Pac-Man game. That's not great. And I don't like the fact that the power-ups don't allow you to actually take out ghosts momentarily. That's another thing that sort of just makes it a little bit unfair in that regard. You're always on the defense, whereas the ghosts are always on the offense. There's no way to change that balance at any point. So yeah, it's just a few issues kind of drag it down, but like I say, the music, the sound effects, just the silly tone of it all really, really helps make this quite memorable, and as a result I would recommend it on that alone. I think it's worth playing for that because it will put a smile on your face. You will have a laugh with it. It's just that it doesn't have the staying power of a good Pac-Man clone. It doesn't have the mechanics that I need to really, really enjoy it on a gameplay level. But presentation wise, it's just daft. It's just a lot of fun, and because of that I have to recommend it.